Hello, third graders. Hope you're all doing well. This is Ms. Ibtihaj. I'm meeting you today to introduce a science session and in specific, the beginning of Unit 1, Engineering Processes. We will be covering the unit vocabulary of this unit with the aim of exploring the vocabulary words used throughout the unit. And then we will start with lesson 1, how do we define a problem? So let's start with the unit vocabulary. Constraint. What is a constraint? It's a real-world limit on the resources of a solution, such as available time, money, or materials. As we all know, people never have endless amounts of time, money, or other resources to solve a problem. So this makes these items like time, money, or quality some of the constraints that people might encounter when solving or finding a solution. The second word is criteria. What is criteria? It's the desired features of a solution. So we have desirable features are the ones we need to have when finding a solution, while the constraints are the absolute limits of a solution. Engineer. Who's an engineer? An engineer is a person who uses science and math to design structures, machines, and systems to solve problems. Technology. Engineered products and processes that meet a want or need. So these are the new terms introduced in Unit 1. Let's start to explore the unit together. Can you all see this video? What do you see inside this video? There's a paralyzed lady. Oh, she's able to walk. Let's look again at the video. Okay, wow, can you see how all people are amazed? What does she have on? Again, let's repeat. We have a lady on a wheelchair. She's coming out. Wow, putting some powered leg supports, and she's able to walk. So what happened in this situation? There was a problem. The problem is that some people are not able to walk. They are paralyzed for a reason or another. They use wheelchair to move from one place to another place. So scientists defined the problem, and then engineers came up with what we call powered leg supports. So this is part of the engineering processes we will be learning about in this unit. So the unit is made up of 3 lessons. Let's start investigating and exploring lesson 1, how do we define a problem? So how do we define a problem? As you can see, there are some very beautiful plants. Okay, what about these plants? Many classes keep an indoor garden. The plants need lots of care and attention. Yes, we all know that. We need to water the plants, put them in sunlight, give them enough air and nutrients so they can grow up and make up beautiful scenery inside the class. So what's wrong with that? Oh, a 2-week holiday break is coming. School will be closed when the break begins. No one can water plants, so students are worried. They want to design a way to water the plants with materials they have. What problem does the class need to solve? Give details to tell what the problem is and what the solution should do. Okay, I'll give you a minute. Please read aloud the problem you see under the picture here. Think about it. Okay, so can you tell what the problem is? Yes, you're completely right. The problem is how to water the plants while the school is closed. So what the solution should do, remember, as per the vocabulary words we learned, we have two terms, constraints and criteria. Whenever we speak of a solution, we must include both. So what is the criteria here? The criteria is that we need the right amount of water for the plants to avoid harming these plants. This is the criteria that I should seek in the solution I need to find, while the constraints are the work for 2 weeks, using all the available materials, finishing the task of watering plants before the break starts, and then keeping the plants safe. So these are some details that tell me about the problem and what the solution should do to solve this problem. Let's explore more. Defining engineering problems. Where do solutions come from? When faced with problems such as how to water plants in a closed building, engineers can help. Engineers design solutions to meet a want or need. Want, need. Have you ever used these words interchangeably? Well, sometimes I do. Like I might say, I want an iPad. No, actually I need an iPad. Do I really want or need an iPad? So what's the difference between these two words? Let's figure it out. A need is something you have to have in order to survive. So without it, you will not be able to survive. Can you think of some examples of things we need to survive? Let's think together. Yes, shelter, house. Without a house, you will not be able to survive. Your house protects you and keeps you safe from the heat in summer times and from cold in winter times. It also provides you with running water. So you can have a shower, you can clean up, you can keep your house even clean. You can keep and maintain your hygienic practices. So shelter is a need. You need it to survive. What about water? Yes, you're right. Our body is made up mostly of water. In order for it to function, it needs water. So we need water in order to survive. Yes, I could see the picture of food. You're right. We all need food. Our body uses food for energy. Without food, we will not be able to do the things we do on a daily basis. Like what? Like talking, walking, running, reading, going to school. Think of it like gas or fuel in your car. If you don't put gas in your car will not run. Your body works the same way. So basically, we spoke about shelter, water, and food. Do we have any other needs? Yes, we do. We also have things we need in order to perform daily tasks or running daily chores. Can you think of some examples? Tick tock, stuck. Could you figure it out? Could you find something? Think more. Yes, a car. Though we don't need the nicest and most expensive car, we still need a car, or I still need a car to go to my job, to take my kids to school, or to doctor's appointments. And if I don't have a car, I need some other form of transportations to get me from and to other places. So car is a need. Without it, I will not be able to perform my daily task. Toothbrush and toothpaste, yes, of course, it's a need, or actually, they are a need. I need them to keep my teeth nice and clean, to keep cavity away. Can you think of any other examples? Yes, we also need clothing, you're right. It doesn't have to be the nicest or to have the latest and greatest character on it that we would like or we all like, but we need clothing and shoes to keep our body protected. These are just few examples. So again, what is a need? A need is something that we need to have in order to survive. What are some things that you would want? Can you think of something? What about your wants? Wants are things we would like to have but do not need. So wants we would like, we prefer having, maybe we can ask our parents to have, but they are not a need. We can still survive without them. Few examples would include toys. We all love toys. We love to play with toys, but we don't need them in order to survive. iPads. An iPad is not a need. It is a want that we want to have so our day goes smoother, or to have a computer right at our fingertips. So toys and iPads are some of the wants we might and like to have, but they are not needs. We don't need them to survive. So let's get back to our lesson. I'll go over the same paragraph again just to keep the flow of ideas. When faced with problems such as how to water plants in a closed building, engineers can help. Engineers design solutions to meet a want or need. Now we can figure out the difference. You use technology many times a day, but do you know what technology is? Simply put, technology is human-made devices or systems that meet a want or need.
Technology everywhere. Look at the different types of technology. Then tell how each meets a want or need. Not all technology is electric. This lightweight pop-up tent keeps you dry when you sleep outside. This is a tablet. It can store many books or magazines in one device. Instead of carrying books or magazines, a person can bring the tablet and read on the go.
Is it a need or a want? Yes, you're right. It is a want. It is something you would like to have. You would want to have so that it makes your work much easier.
Zippers are technology too. They temporarily hold fabric together. This hairbrush is technology used to get knots out of hair and style hair. Is that a need or a want?
So what do you think? Is the hairbrush a need or a want? Let's read this problem together. A hairbrush is technology used to get knots out of hair and style hair. Is that a need or a want? Explain your reasoning. So I'm just gonna wait for a couple of seconds so you would think, is the hairbrush a need or a want? Well, all those of you who answered that it is a want, you are right, because you don't need to have the nicest hairstyle to survive. You can still survive no matter how your hair looks. Let's proceed with our lesson. We're going to skip this activity for now. Okay. Exploring the limits on problem solving. Part of an engineering problem is identifying the constraints. Remember, we said that the constraints are the absolute limits. Constraints are the limits on the resources that you can use to solve a problem. People never have endless amounts of time, money, or other resources to solve a problem. NASA engineers think about constraints to make decisions. Trips to the International Space Station, ISS, can carry only so much weight. Each item on board has an allowable weight. If an astronaut gains 1 kilogram before a flight, then 1 kilogram of something else must be left behind. Can you imagine? Constraints are absolute limits, not just desirable features. Space in space. Is the space that an item takes up a criterion or a constraint? Select the answer. Let's see what the situation involves first. Astronauts don't have bedrooms on the ISS. They use small sleeping bags as shown. The amount of space for sleeping is I did it before, is a constraint. Yes, because the more space something takes up, the less room there is for something. So here the question was whether it's a constraint or a criteria. No, actually it is a constraint. Just a second. Okay, let's move to the second question. Astronauts can just buy groceries. Their food must last until the next delivery from Earth. So most of their food is freeze-dried. Is how long food must last a criterion or a constraint? Yes, it is not a criterion. It is a constraint. Why? Because they need to keep in mind or to take into consideration the space that this amount of food would take on the spaceship. So there's a limited amount of space for food on the space station. Would you like to take the lesson further and explore more about it? Let's see. We have interviewing an engineer. We have phoning home and solve your own problem. These are the sections or the new concepts we will be exploring in our next meeting. Till then, stay safe, keep your hands clean, and see you soon. Bye-bye.